Hey guys, and welcome back to I Like Watches, and welcome to the full review of a Berny diver that's actually been around for a little while. Keeps popping up on my AliExpress feed. I see it time after time and it actually looks pretty good. So I got in touch with Berny and I said, don't suppose you fancy sending me one of these to review, and here it is. In this video you'll get, well, most of the facts, figures, stats and specifications. Green thumbs up, red thumbs down, a little summary at the end. I'll show you some lovely macro shots, and yeah, you never know, you might be tempted to pop one of these in your basket because Berny offer pretty good discounts during their sales. Their Swiss Railway Mondaine Homage has to be one of the biggest selling watches out there. Super affordable Swiss Railway style watch. Yeah, incredible watch. So you never know, this could be another one of those. We won't know until I've reviewed it, so yeah, let's get on with it, shall we? And here it is. Now, I unboxed this watch a few days ago. I've been wearing it on and off for those few days, and I've got to say, I am pleasantly surprised. It's not up there with their Swiss Railway inspired watch. That thing is super affordable and looks fantastic. This one doesn't look quite as good and is not quite as affordable. But when I run through the specifications on this watch, I think you're going to be quite surprised, especially when you consider this is under $100, which is quite rare these days for AliExpress. Prices are creeping up and up, but Berny seem to continue to offer incredible specifications, fantastic build quality at very reasonable prices. The movement inside this watch is the Miyota 8205. It's an automatic movement beating at 21,600 beats per hour. It doesn't hack, but it does hand wind, and you've got a sapphire crystal display case back. So you can see in the movement, okay, it's nothing special to look at, but the rotor is signed, and you've got some specifications on that screw down case back as well. And as you can see, 200 meters of water resistance, 20 ATM. It is obviously a compressor style diver. So the bezel is on the inside, it's underneath the crystal in the case, and you rotate the bezel using this second crown here. This crown is a screw down crown. It's got that fairly standard compressor style detail on both crowns, and you would use this crown to adjust the date, the day and the time. Right, let's give you some dimensions then. The diameter of the case is just under 41 millimeters. Thickness is 13.5. Case length just under 50 millimeters. Lug width 20 millimeters, and no taper on the strap. Here's confirmation then that we're dealing with two pieces of sapphire crystal on the front and sapphire crystal on the back for under $100. Wow. And on the supplied strap, it weighs 107 grams. Now, I'll be the first to admit it's not the prettiest looking dive watch, but I think if most people were to have a go at designing a proper functional 200 meter affordable diver, they'd probably come up with something like this. Super legible dial, look at the size of those numbers and indexes, and a very simple case, just a sort of, well, just a simple cylindrical slab sided case. The bezel actually protrudes out from the case a little bit, but yeah, it's just so simple, functional, big face, nice and clear. It actually looks more like a proper dive watch than most divers we see today, I think. And the finishing looks pretty reasonable. Brushing looks, well, nice and coarse, but even all the way around the watch. I'm not seeing any polished surfaces. And the crowns are nicely done. Actually, this bezel action is really, really nice. It's not a completely smooth bezel, interestingly. So there are 90 little notches on this internal bezel. So as you turn this crown, you can just feel these little notches, and there are 90 of them all the way around. So yeah, that's a really nice touch, and it's beautifully smooth and sort of greasy and soft all the way around. The resistance is fairly high, which is what you'd want. You don't want to keep knocking this crown. So yeah, really nice sort of compressor internal style bezel action. Yeah, lovely. There is some nice detail on the dial as well. You've got an inner circle with a sort of waffle pattern on it with the name Berny, and then automatic printed above the 6, and then you've got a smooth circle around the outside of the dial which houses the applied indexes and the 12 and 6 numeral Of course, you've got those cutouts for the day and the date. Not completely convinced by the date cutout. That's done so that if ever the minute hand is at 3 o'clock, you can still read the date because you'll be able to tell what the date is above and below the hand. And I've got to say, the loom looks pretty good. Usually with these super affordable watches on AliExpress, the first thing that gets sacrificed is the loom. I haven't used this watch in a loom degradation comparison video yet, but from what I've seen during filming, it looks pretty decent actually. Fairly nice strap as well. It's super soft, which gives the impression of quality. It's certainly very, very comfortable, with it being a super soft silicone strap, and with it also having all these sort of notches and grooves. It is a little bit of a lint magnet. When it turned up, the first thing I had to do was put some putty over it because it was just covered in fluff. The buckle, very sort of plain and simple, standard, and not exactly exciting, is it? Almost cheap looking, but it certainly does the job. And keeping the strap attached to the case, you've got some screw pins, so yeah, no standard spring bars keeping this strap on the watch. I suspect the pin inside there is going to be a little bit stronger and more substantial than your sort of cheap spring bars, so that's also a nice touch. I gotta say, it's not often these days I get surprised by watches from AliExpress. I've handled hundreds of watches now from AliExpress, so I sort of know what to expect from the brands prior to the watches turning up, but this one has genuinely surprised me. I didn't realise the list of specifications was as good as it is. I knew the build quality would be pretty good, but yeah, this watch has been quite a pleasant surprise. Right, let me run through all of the green thumbs up. There's a couple of red thumbs down, but yeah, let me run through what I perceive to be the strengths first. The first one is just the overall list of specifications. I really was not expecting 2 pieces of sapphire crystal, front and back, a signed rotor, 200 meters of water resistance, a fantastic feeling internal bezel. Okay, it's got a Miyota 8-2 series movement, which doesn't hack, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah, under $100 for some of these specifications, it's really quite surprising. The next one is the styling, and I think that's what was putting me off reviewing this watch sooner, but actually it's really, really growing on me. It's unashamedly simple and functional, isn't it? It's like it's saying, I'm a dive watch, I'm not trying to look pretty, I just look like a dive watch, I'll do what you need me to do. Yeah, I actually quite like it, and I do like this colour orange as well. It's very comfortable, super soft silicone strap, it doesn't feel top heavy at all. It's actually not that thick, it looks thicker than it actually is because of the slab-sided nature of the case. Yeah, very comfortable. And the loom, I was expecting it to be dreadful, but it's not at all. I'd say it's sort of average, if not slightly better than average, which again was a really pleasant surprise. And the finishing, I've seen quite a few Berny watches now, and I know they tend to finish their watches pretty well, but I'm still surprised actually by how nicely finished this watch is. Yeah, they've done a good job. But the watch does have a few weaknesses, sadly. The first one is the no hacking Miyota 8-2 series movement. I mean, what should we expect for less than $100? You're not likely to get an NH35 or PT5000 in here. But the fact that it doesn't hack is a little bit of an irritant, not just for me, for quite a few people. So yeah, that's a small weakness. I shouldn't really complain too much about that, but yeah, it's a little bit of a niggle. The slab-sided nature of the case, as much as the design is warming to me, I do think that is one element of this watch that's going to put quite a few people off. It is just so functional looking, isn't it? It does look like it should be a proper dive watch, so why would you want to wear it day to day? I quite like it. Like I said, it's growing on me, but it is very slab-sided. And the strap, it's actually nice quality, it's super soft and comfortable, but it is going to be a lint magnet, and that is a pet hate for me. Yeah, I really don't like looking down at the time and seeing loads of lint all over my straps. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of super soft silicone straps, despite them, well, feeling comfortable and making the watches yeah, very, very wearable. But I think that's it. I really like the way it looks. I'm pleasantly surprised with the build quality. The specifications are outstanding for under $100. So I'm really glad. I changed my mind and yeah, got in touch with Bernie to review this one. I am pleasantly surprised. I keep saying it, but I am genuinely quite surprised by this watch. But what about you? Have you been surprised by this watch? You've probably seen this thing on AliExpress. Like me, keeps popping up on your AliExpress feed, and you've probably looked at it and thought, that looks a bit cheap and naff. I'm not interested in that watch at all. If that's you, let me know in the comment section, because that was certainly me, and yeah, I was very wrong actually. And what do you think of the design? Is this something you would wear? Would you wear this watch day to day? Let me know in the comment section. And value for money, what are your thoughts on that? Yeah, let me know what you guys think. I love to read your comments. They're not just entertaining for me to read, they are useful for other people considering buying these watches, and you never know, this one might be pretty well discounted in the sale, which is fast approaching at the end of June. So if you are half tempted, pop it in your basket. It will still be there when you check out during the sale. Yeah, if you can get this one much cheaper than $97, that's just going to make it an outstanding value for money diver, isn't it? Yeah, incredible. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, Bernie, for sending me this watch. Yeah, I'm not going to be so quick to dismiss watches in the future, I don't think. Right, guys, take care. Look after yourselves. You'll see me again very soon.